am Andrea Falcon.
Mauro
Melandri. So, before introducing the two persons that maybe most of you have already recognized, what makes big a sailing event or a sport general event? If champions are there, doing something else, sailing or coaching, doesn't matter, then an event, it's big. We have first class world champion David Ullman and Vince Brun. Hello, good morning, thank you for being here. They are really world champion, Olympic classes world champion, and Melges 24. So, David Ullman, you were Melges 24 world champion in 2007.
Yes.
Vince Brun, you were world champion in the very first two world champions of the class. How does it feel to be still here? This is the 26th edition. So congratulations, first of all, for being here. How does it feel?
Well, I was involved with the class from the very beginning. I was good friends with Buddy Melges, and I knew about developing his new boat, and which was very exciting. Was very incredibly modern, way ahead of time, and so being part of the beginning of the class, it kind of makes you come over here and kind of bring a lot of great memories of efforts and regattas that you participated. Won some, lost some, but just the camaraderie has always been one of the best things you can get out of sailing. So I'm sure Dave will share.
I have to agree. I was lucky enough to have boat number 3. So from the very, very beginning of the class, it's amazing how this boat still is the best small keel boat in existence. It's stood the test of time, and it has some of the best sailors in the world, as this regatta shows. Some people have come from kind of out of the woodwork and are really, really good. And it's had probably the best sailing and the best sailors through, 40 years now.
Vince, we were stating that you were the winner of the first 2 editions of the Worlds. Your best memory in the Melges 24 class is linked to one of these 2 successes, or you have other memories that you want to tell us?
Well, I think it's like if you look back, or if you look what we're doing now, like the late main jibe, which is something which is done in everything, in all the boats. You look at 𝗩𝗶𝗰𝗲, any class, they use the late main jibe, which is basically the main comes across the boat after the kite is turned around. And that thing was basically started with the Melges 24. So all these little things that we kind of learned, it was a perfect platform for people to develop new techniques, how to kind of improve the performance of the boat. And the Melges 24 was kind of like in front of everybody else on that.
So it's no secret that you are almost 80 years old, right? So congratulations. I mean,
That's a good thing.
come on, you're not ladies, so we can talk about
we can
the
talk
age.
Yeah,
So
I'm 78.
He's just a child.
Yeah.
No, but there's an admiration from me because I hope at your age to be still my job, Mauro's job is being journalists, photographers, and whatever. And I really hope that when I will be 80, I will still have the passion more than the physical attitude, more the passion, because everything comes from there, to go out on the water and still talk about this beautiful sport. So my question in the end is, how does it feel to sit on the bench, let's say, to sit on the rib, to be coach instead of being sailors? Is still that a lot of passion, and there is again a lot of competition also playing that role?
I think more so. I think that it's a harder role than sailing. Makes me more nervous coaching than driving. And, for both of us, it's accumulation of a lot of years of doing this. And if we can impart that knowledge in the people we coach, and we both coach a lot of different classes, and you can bring the same experience class to class. But I think in a way it's almost more rewarding than sailing.
Vince, do you like coaching?
Well, so all the years that Dave and I spent sailmaking, we basically we kind of learn about how to set up the sails. We learn how to build the sails, and we learn how to set up as best we can. We're very curious about that, and I think Dave shared the same kind of opinion on that too. Is that the passion is not just the sailing itself, it's just like how to set up the boat and how to do the little details that goes into that, and that kind of is very intriguing, and it's very rewarding when you kind of achieve something out of that.
So you are telling us that you are still learning something when you're doing coaching.
Absolutely,
Every day.
absolutely.
Every single day you learn something. You come away with something, some small tidbit. And
I have my old boss, Lower North, the North Sales, that started North Sales, and he told me one time, right in early days when I started working on North Sales, he said, the day you stop enjoying, you stop learning, you basically stop because you just no longer.
In your long career as sailors, sailmakers, coaches, had you ever come before to sail in Trieste? Did you know Trieste as a race course or
I never been here before.
never here before?
No.
I've been here a fair amount. We had an Ullman sales loft here for years, and I came, not regularly, but I came, in
So-
periods. Yeah.
So just to tell also where we are, I mean, you are coaches of two boats that are on the podium at the moment in the professional standing. David Ullman is coaching Sentinel, that is provisionally in the first position, and Vince Brun is coaching Dark Horse, that is in third position, but just 1 point behind. It is a very tough world championship because here the wind blows at 30 knots or nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's say, how do you like not only the race course, let's say Trieste in general, the race course close to the city? I mean, do you like to be here for sailing and also not sailing?
That's
On the
pretty
spot.
hard, pretty difficult question. So I like the challenge. I think is with any race course, sometimes every race course around the world is a little different. Like I had a good example, places like in California where we kind of live, Long Beach is pretty straightforward. You go San Diego a little bit too. You go right, and it's a boat speed contest. Over here is a combination of boat speed and plus you have tactically, it's very difficult conditions, and so I think it's measuring many different factors there, and so it's a pretty challenged place to sail, but that doesn't mean is good or bad. It's just challenging and demand a lot from the crew, not just again boat speed, because I always talk with when I meeting with my crew is just like positioning on the race course, how important that is versus boat speed sometimes, so that's my take. And I think like any place else, you have to kind of pick what are the things that are gonna reward you the most, and so Trieste is again pretty challenging place to sail.
Yeah, it's a place where a coach makes a big difference.
Oh.
Eyes out of the boat is very, very helpful here. So far, the two of us are doing our jobs. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But you get a place that's difficult, and coaching can really help.
In fact, I was thinking, can I ask this thing or not? But you opened the argument to me. I wanted to say, don't be shy. I mean, it's maybe not a coincidence that two of the first three boats are coached by you, or let's say are coached in general. It's not a coincidence then.
No, absolutely not. No, coaching is a valuable part of the sport at this level.
Although I learned from the skipper briefing, you cannot have contact with the teams. They're very strict on the coaching rules here, right? So it's
very
also
strict, yeah.
so you have to prepare everything before and during the debrief. On the water, there isn't much that you can do, right?
No, you can just yell at yourself.
Okay, eat.
You
You
can
can
eat,
eat.
and you can yell at yourself. No, but the mornings and the debriefings have real value.
Guys, going inside of the first race, it has been an epic race with strong wind. Have you ever seen something like this with man overboard, 3 boats without the mast, 1 helm lost, some difficult condition on race 1?
The Worlds I won in Santa Cruz, the last race, there was, I can't even remember how many, but more than 1 handful, maybe 2 handfuls of boats that finished without rigs. So maybe another 5 knots more than this in open water. So it's tricky here, but there's places that blow harder.
And big seas too, right?
Big seas,
Yeah.
really big seas.
And so let's say there are the Olympic classes that we still consider the pinnacle of the sport, of course, a lot of respect. I mean, then how do you place? We have in the world of sailing, we have America's Cup, Olympic classes. Where do you place a class like Melges 1024 for the competition technically? Where do you place it?
Well, I think that the sport is as divided as I ever seen. You know, growing up, my days, young days, I used to sail snipe because everybody where I grew up had sailed snipes, and then we had the laser, which was a pretty successful class. And my generation kind of went into the laser, and now I see a lot of diversity there in terms of like too many options, and you have some of the classes kind of basically divide the audience to a smaller to more classes, and I think the Melges 24 always going to have a good audience. Just because the quality of the boat is very, you don't have like some of these older boats which you have the spinnaker pole. You have to jibe the spinnaker pole. As an example, is the 𝗩𝗂𝗋𝗄. So makes it a little harder. The Melges 24 for an average person to sail to me is a lot easier boat to sail, and it's a very fast, very high performance. So I think the Melges 24 always going to have a little spot there for.
Something I've always been very curious, because I was working for a sailing magazine in Italy. We did the cover page of the Melges 24. You mentioned it before. You followed the process, the creation with Buddy Melges and everything. It was the first model of the boat arrived in Italy in 1993. So the idea started at the America's Cup. We all know the story. Yeah. It was a very new boat with a carbon mast. It was very new for 1992.
Right.
Now, when there is a new one design class, the year after we already have a world championship. While the first world championship for the Melges 24 class was sailed in 1998. Isn't it a bit strange? It's a curiosity that I have. How come a so modern boat created in 1992 had the world championship for the first time only 6 years later? It's much different from today.
It was a good thing though, because the class got developed, the rules got, ironed out, and by then it attracted probably the best sailors in the world. So waiting was a good thing, and Vince showed him what to do.
Yeah, no, I agree with. I think it's some of these classes are jumping a little too fast, and they don't last very long.
Exactly. They grow fast and they don't last.
Right.
That's it. Right. Yes.
Apart the design of the boat, that is for sure a great success, is an iconic one design. Do you think that also the way that the manage has been, the way that the class has been managed along the years was one of the secret of the success of the Melges 24?
Yeah, probably. It's been pretty strict on the rules. They haven't allowed a lot of changes, which is a good thing. It keeps it one design, and the longer it can do that, there's lots of things you can do to make the boat faster. That's not the goal. The goal is to make the boats all even.
I'm going to ask now two similar questions to you, but different.
Yes.
Similar, but different. I start with 𝗩𝗂𝗂𝗕𝗿𝗂, world champion in the 470 class in 1977, 78, and 1980.
Yes.
Being world champion in the 470 class those years was really a big thing. If you were a 470 world champion, maybe you were going to steer an America's Cup boat, for example. Are you still in love with the 470 class? And this is the question: are you happy that the 470 is still an Olympic class?
Absolutely, it's a great boat. It's pretty tight forming for the size of people, which is, a philosophy that the Olympic Committee has kept. I'm not sure I agree. There's not a small person's and a big person's downhill skiing. There probably still should be a 3-person big boat, keelboat, and a class for big people. Now that Finn's gone, there isn't. But no, I was very proud of winning 3 worlds, and at that time I was the first person to win 3 worlds, and so it still has a very soft spot in my heart. Absolutely.
So as I said, the question is similar to Vince Brun. He was a world champion with he went to the Olympics with the sailing class, and he also won 3 world championships in 78, 81, 83, and you went to the Olympics in 76 and 80, something that you could not do to go to the Olympics in 80 because
80
US
didn't
didn't
work
go.
out. Yeah, exactly.
Didn't go to Montreal to play the Olympics. So maybe you're a bit, you regret a little bit that. I don't know. I don't want to go into politics now between
No.
US and Russia.
Yeah, exactly. But,
Stay away from
That's
that.
the-
yeah,
Stay
yeah,
away
we'll
from
stay for
that,
that one.
especially today.
but
Then-
sometimes there's breaks and sometimes there's not.
Okay.
You get over it.
And you also won a world champion with the Star in '86. So the question is, are you sad that those 2 classes, sailing maybe yes, but especially the Star, it's not at the Olympic Games anymore?
Yeah, as Dave mentioned before, I think is the Olympic Committee is missing a little bit, because having a full representation of the sport on the Olympics, to me, is pretty important. We used to have a match racing, right? I think Dave's comments on having a keelboat, ocean racer, like some people suggest having the double-handed and have a long distance race and stuff like that would be a better representation, because there's a lot of this kind of racing in the world right now, and a lot of keelboats, and there's no keelboats right now in the Olympics. So I think I have nothing against kiteboarding and all these other disciplines, but I think we're missing the representation that we used to have in the Olympics.
So Mauro, we have also other guests waiting for us.
The last question.
Exactly.
On today.
Exactly. I wanted to bring you from the past to what's happening today. Exactly.
So, guys, first question, really, really fast one. What about 𝗩𝗂𝗂𝗕𝗿𝗂 in this kind of one design fleets?
Well, I'm gonna be the chair for the Echos Worlds in San Diego in 2026, in May 10th, 2026, and the class approved the 𝗩𝗂𝗂𝗕𝗿𝗂, and I think that's a good way going forward. If the 𝗩𝗂𝗂𝗕𝗿𝗂 is the only option, I'm not so sure. I'm not endorsing anybody. I'm just saying the concept to have the race committee have a machine that controls who start early, who start behind. It's a good example of what happened yesterday. So we be able to have the races on time, and people get back to the shore on time. And so I think that's a no-brainer going forward.
And he's soft about it. I would say that a major class having a world championship can't do it without some form of starting technique. And right now it's 𝗩𝗂𝗂𝗕𝗿𝗂. Who knows what it'll be in the future. But something like that should be mandatory for a world championship in a one design class.
So thank you very much, David Ullman and Vince Brun. At the moment, I think that you can enjoy the coffee at the bar here at Yacht Club 𝗩𝗂𝗂𝗕𝗿𝗂. I don't know how many coffees have you already taken this morning. So stay calm, stay quiet, be patient, and let's hope that we will see some sailing today. I think that behind, how you say, behind the curtains, there are maybe at this very moment some decision to take for the format of the event. Who knows? And let's hope to see you on the water today.